Welcome to Our Community. Susie Thomas here visiting with Ryan Smith, who is the Assistant Director of Academic Marketing at the University of Mount Union. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Ryan, I love it when someone who actually went to a university ends up marketing the university. So you must have had a great experience.
Yeah, I graduated there in 3 years. I graduated a year early, and it was one of my favorite experiences of my life. And I'm actually from Minerva, but lived at Mount Union. So when you know the campus, when you know the atmosphere, coming back a couple years later makes it really easy to market something you love.
So 3 years, what was the big hurry?
Well, it was a couple of personal decisions and also financial, to make sure that I got out of there in a really cost-effective way and with the degree I wanted. So once I kind of crossed the line there, it all made sense.
You seem very comfortable behind a microphone. Tell me about your extracurriculars there at Mount Union.
Yeah, a little bit. So while I was during undergrad, I actually worked for WRMU, which is their college affiliate, and I was the sports director for a couple years. I got to broadcast and do play-by-play in color for a couple of national championship football teams, all their basketball games, a couple of baseball and lacrosse games. It was one of the best experiences I could have ever asked for, because at a bigger school, you might not have that individual behind the mic attention, and getting to go to those games, getting to meet some of those people. I mean, it was incredible. It was awesome.
Well, and also, how often do you have a school that, is in the Guinness Book of World Records for how many times they continue to win? I know this year was a little rougher, but wow, all through your experience, did you ever lose while you were in college?
We lost 2 national titles during my time. Yeah, but the regular season and everything, we were still perfect. I mean, it's really an incredible run when you get to meet people from ESPN and while you're in Alliance, Ohio. I mean, just that thought alone is really cool. So
talk about that atmosphere, because I know I've heard that folks bring picnic baskets and everything. Everyone in the stands knows everyone else in the stands. It's a real family, isn't it?
Yeah, it's reminiscent. I mean, I'm a little younger, but it's kind of reminiscent of Cheers, with the fact that everybody knows their own spot and their friend's spot in the parking lot for tailgates. And, you can walk by and drive a golf cart through and high five everybody from the week before even. So that's the benefit of going to a small school with a great program, because everybody knows everybody, and it becomes more, I would say, less a party and more of a family gathering, because everybody shares everything, and it's just a good vibe to be around.
And it doesn't hurt to win over and over and over again.
Absolutely
either.
not.
It's too fun. Well, you are marketing academic programs, so let's talk about some of these academic programs. You must really believe in what you do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't preach enough to my experience there academically. I mean, it was a fantastic time, and some of the things we've got going on right now, we're actually pushing some graduate programs, which we didn't really have during my tenure at Mount Union. And one of them is our Doctor of Physical Therapy program. And they just received candidacy for accreditation, which is huge, and a huge step for our, just grad studies in general.
Let me just stop you right there. Mount Union, master's degrees at Mount Union would be a new thing. You are jumping right in with a doctoral program.
Correct. Yeah, we have a master's in physician assistant studies, which is our longest tenured program, a master's in educational leadership, which is now a fully online program. It's our first time doing that, so it's really exciting for us. And marketing, that's a whole new ball game for the Mount Union perspective. And then the Doctorate of Physical Therapy program just had its inaugural class in fall of 2016, so they're getting the ball rolling too, and they're now candidates for accreditation of their own.
That is incredible. The accreditation part is amazing.
Yeah, it's a super rigorous process, and the faculty members handle it with kid gloves, and they do such a good job with it, because I wouldn't want to do it, and I'm glad I don't have to, and I'm glad I can just talk about how good they are, because it's a lot to handle.
The committee must have been very impressed when they came on campus and talked to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a long road to hoe, that's for sure, but they're doing a great job, and it's just one step after another, and they're doing great.
What goes into deciding what we should offer a master's degree in? Do you take polls out there? How do you keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on to know what's somebody going to sign up for?
Well, a lot of that is higher level thinking, far above my pay grade, believe me. But I mean, between feasibility studies and just getting, the general court of public opinion and seeing what people want offered out there in order to stay competitive with our peer and aspirate institutions, and, just what the students want and what we're able to offer them with the facilities and the equipment and the technology that we have on campus, and how we can continue to grow and utilize that.
And you're adding these to just an already really solid undergraduate program. Talk about some of the majors maybe that are the most popular.
Sure. Yeah, we have 59 undergraduate majors, and we're a liberal arts we're an institution grounded in the liberal arts, but we focus on practical preparation. Rather than your traditional universities with a lot of the liberal arts studies, we focus on engineering is one of our biggest programs now between mechanical and civil. Mm-hmm. We also have exercise science, which is one of our biggest majors, as well as biochemistry, chemistry. But then we've also thrown in a couple of what we call exploration majors, some of the more unique majors that you might not find at a traditional curriculum, something like national security and foreign intelligence analysis,
Whoa.
Which is a mouthful, but it's for those students that want to go on to maybe work for the government or do jobs where if they tell you what they're doing, they'd have to kill you and stuff like that. And it's very unique to tell a prospective student, we have really traditional hands-on stuff that we can offer you, but also on that same note, we have these unique majors for those students who might be undecided but just want to get their foot in the door somewhere and really start a good career with something they're passionate about.
It's just such an interesting university to pick if that's what you want to go into, rather than finding something in D.C. or so forth, but to be able to get that nice classroom size and so forth that Mount Union can boast about. Let's talk about that, the faculty and student ratio.
Yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves on that. I mean, the ratio is 13-1, which, I mean, the individual attention every student gets is awesome. And again, I can attest to that because during my undergraduate years, I had classes, my largest class I think might have been 35 people and my smallest was 8.
Wow.
So, you can have larger group projects, but you can also have that individualized focus, which is key. And to your point with, the going to DC for something like a government type thing, our internship opportunities are incredible because one of the things that we just offered, actually, we had 5 students through the Washington Center, a partnership we have with their organization. They actually got to intern at the Republican and Democratic National Conventions last summer.
Oh my gosh.
So they could be from a very small town, go to a very small school, and still be able to, rub elbows with some of the political elites. And they can say they got a political science degree from Mount Union, but have the experience of somebody who may have went to a Harvard or a Georgetown or something like that. And not a lot of schools can say that, and we're really happy that we have the opportunity.
It was kind of cool that one of those conventions came right to Northeast Ohio. That was kind of exciting to have that happen as well.
Yeah.
You have been going through some new branding. I thought you sounded pretty good before. So why rebrand?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a full rebrand. One of the things we realized in these graduate programs and our growth of the university was just the simple fact of our slogan, was "Where Exceptional Begins." And we realized if we're going to offer graduate programs, not everyone's journey begins solely at Mount Union. So we are at the University of Mount Union where you come to be exceptional because you might not necessarily be starting your journey here, but you might be continuing it. And no matter, whether you're an adult learner, a working professional, or an 18-year-old fresh out of high school, it's a place where we want to offer the most exceptional educational experience that these students, young or old, can really adhere to.
You're kind of new in your role.
I am.
But do you hear back from alumni as far as, the fact that you are alum, that means something, but what your alumni are doing now, they're really making inroads out there in the real world.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been in my position a little over a year now. I've been graduated for the university for about almost 3. And some of what our alumni are doing are incredible. I mean, we have entrepreneurs, we have vice presidents in professional sports organizations. We have so many we have alums working in D.C. We have alums teaching internationally, some in the Peace Corps. I mean, the opportunities our alumni are incredible. And what's great about that for our prospective and current students is that they have that network, the Mount Union network, to where, we can say that our alums, they give back to university. They're serving on advisory boards. They're speaking to classes. So not only are they taking their opportunity and growing, but they're also giving back with some of the knowledge that they've learned in the field to our current students, which is really cool. I mean, I got to experience some of that as an undergrad myself.
I always thought, and we're going to talk about your big speaker series coming up pretty soon, but I always thought it was very smart that as alumni age, they may not want to be driving anywhere in the evening, and you offer an awful lot of wonderful things for the community in the daytime. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a number of continued learning programs, seminars with community members or university faculty, including the Link Luncheon Series, which is a really unique opportunity that as a student I really didn't pay much attention to because I had my own studies to worry about. But what it affords the community is the opportunity for community members to come in, and for $10 they get a lunch provided by our EVI food service, which is an incredible lunch, and then they get to listen to a faculty member talk about something very topical or very personalized to them. And the series is very successful. I mean, there are times where we've had to add chairs to the room because whether it's the topic, the faculty, or the food, the community really seems to latch onto that, and it's a really cool experience.
Something else, you mentioned AVI, Steve Beatty, who oversees your food service, the dining services there.
Yeah.
Kind of cool that he's a winner of Cupcake Wars Christmas.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
Exciting. Were you all watching? Were you just all cheering for him? That was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really cool to have Steve. He's become sort of a campus celebrity, if you will, because, I mean, he's had his time on Food Network, but not just that. He's done more demonstrations at our own cafeteria. He's done demonstrations at the Hartville Marketplace, carving pumpkins and that kind of stuff. He has such unique talent that is just, it's so focused and so detailed. So to have somebody doing such artistic stuff as that within, a stone's throw from our offices is a really good thing to have from a marketing perspective because, I mean, not only was he on Food Network, but he also continues to build on his craft.
Right. And how neat that he's a great chef, for one thing.
Right.
He can pull off really good meals. But everything looks so pretty because he's carving these awesome watermelons into floral bouquets and things.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's all edible, and even some of the most uniquely shaped and detailed things are some of the most delicious things I've ever seen anybody put out. So having that at our disposal, I mean, our students love the cafeteria and the options that it gives them. So he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, I would just say if you're out and around Hartville Marketplace when Steve is doing a demonstration, stop what you're doing and go inside and watch that because it is remarkable. Let's talk a little bit about your campus. Something to be said about an old campus where so much thought went into the buildings at the time to have that old architecture and everything just flowing so beautifully. It looks like a college musical over there. I'm just going to say that and throw that out there.
Well, thanks.
It's beautiful. Talk about that a bit.
Yeah, we love our campus, and we encourage everybody to come on a campus visit just because if you weren't excited about the programs or the sports, our campus draws you in. I mean, we have, I think, a fantastic mix of innovative technology that keeps us, a line or ahead of the pack when it comes to, what we need from an educational perspective. But like you mentioned, the history of some of these buildings. I mean, it's really funny from, the fact that I'm younger and just recently graduated a few years ago to see students walk past and then want to post a picture of Chapman Hall on social media, like whether it's snowing, whether it's the right reflection from the sun. They get so excited about posting a unique photo on campus, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever the case may be. They're really proud of how nice our campus is too. And so to have that mix of really old historic buildings and new technology, I think, it's what we pride ourselves on. And we were actually named, once again, a Tree Campus USA campus. So having all of these things while still being...
What does that mean for folks who don't know?
Sure. It's one of the most prestigious awards for being an environmentally conscious campus. So we have programs, at Mount Union like the Green Raiders. We have a sustainability manager. We actually just added a wellness trail for those when it's not, January in Ohio to walk around campus. And we also have healthy campus initiatives as staff members. We participate in programs that, we can offer free blood pressure screenings, health talks, that kind of thing. So just all in all, we're a very sustainable campus, a very green campus, and we like to continue to promote that. And we're glad we're going to receive awards for it too.
And great for you that your students are on their own without any extra encouragement from the marketing department posting photos about you. So that's awesome to get out there. We need to take a short break. We'll be back with Ryan Smith. He's from the University of Mount Union. You're listening to Our Community.